like high vibrational, so it kind
Yeah.
of set the tone for the morning that I had.
Yeah.
And when I woke up this morning, like it was cold at first, but then the sun came out, which is kind of relative to what you're talking about
Right.
as far as like I guess imagery is concerned. But I had made a reference yesterday that I had noticed that this hummingbird had been coming to visit me, and I've seen it twice. And I was telling this person that I was like, if I see this hummingbird again, I know it's something that's trying to get my attention.
Yeah.
I'll lie to you. Now I woke up, I was outside on the patio, sitting down, and that hummingbird came right here. And it got closer than it had ever gotten before.
Wow.
And it hovered there for a minute. And I just was smiling like, wow, like, okay.
Wow.
So you're just basically letting me know, like, so I don't know, in so many words, I think what I'm just saying is I feel the newness
Yes.
that you're talking about.
I could cry. That makes me feel so thankful, and I love that. I love that you're on the same page.
Yeah.
And I really was thinking about, you know, a common saying my mom says of like, don't make a permanent decision off of a temporary emotion. You know what I'm saying? Because especially me as an empath and just as like an emotional being, I am so impulsive, and I just feel like my feelings are facts, you know? And I feel like there's a way to honor your feelings, but remember, it's a guest house. Rumi has a poem of just like, it's a guest, let them flow in, coming out, they're serving you, but those times when those feelings are feeling like they're lasting forever for months on end, it's like, are they really guests, or is this who I am now? You know, so shout out to that hummingbird.
Okay.
Shout out to the newness. Shout out to
Shout out to the
September.
hummingbird. And it's the first. As you were
It's the
talking, I'm
first
like,
of
oh
the
my
month.
God, it's the
Yeah.
first. So everything that you were saying makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And like 111, those are like my numbers, and I've been seeing them all day. Like I was on the phone with my sister, and I was like, oh girl, look what time it is. So it
Yes.
feels really beautiful outside. Like September feels like I'm glad August. I appreciate August for what it gave. You know, it was a lot, like you said, emotions, and I feel you. It was heavy sometimes. And
Yeah,
like
very.
as a woman, and like I know when you're trying to like actively grow, or when you recognize something in yourself sometimes, and you're like, okay, I don't like that, you know, or I don't really want to be like that. So how do I get up out of that? And I definitely relate with the emotion part, because feelings are not always facts.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not until we end up in situations that reveal to us that our feelings were not facts, where we be like, dang, like I could have led with a different emotion that could have got me maybe to a more just neutral place
Yes.
the whole time. And that's what it's really about. It's like peace, because emotions come all, like you can
Yeah.
attach yourself to any emotion, you know. So it's like, which one am I going to choose to have a good day with? Because I can choose any of them things, because they be coming. I'm a woman, so
Look at us. We haven't even started.
oh, we just talking. Okay, yeah.
I love this. All right, y'all. I'm Nia Rose,
I am Lola North.
and this is for me. All right, so I'm here with a very special individual right now. You see, we already vibing. We hadn't even gotten started. This woman is a dancer, choreographer, producer, director, nail tech. But you know, above all the accolades and titles, I just wanted to take a moment to give you your flowers. I'm so thankful for you. From the moment I met you, you made me feel so welcome and powerful and beautiful. And I just feel like you are just effortlessly and endlessly showing love. So I just want to take a moment and just like let you marinate in that. I'm just so thankful for you.
No, this is a moment, because I don't know about all the other, you know, black girls out there, but I know sometimes for us it's hard to accept a compliment.
Yeah.
You know, so thank you, because I need to hear that too. So
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. And for you being somebody that's like equally as special to me, and hearing you say that, or like knowing that I could make you feel that way,
Yeah.
I think that's really dope.
Thank you. And I just feel like you're such a powerhouse. I feel like you're a powerful being. And, you know, when us powerful beings show love, it carries weight to it. You know, do you feel like that's something that you do intentionally? Is that something that you like, I'm going to make sure I'm showing love? Or is that just kind of naturally who you are?
I want to say maybe it's a combination of both a little bit, because sometimes like life can life, and you might not always feel like being that, but when you understand like the power in it, or the purpose maybe, it helps me just to be that as much as I can, because I know love wins. And even in situations where, because I'm human, like, you know, I want to go off, or I want to whatever, it don't mean that I don't feel it. but I've seen what love has done for me. You know, it's changed me, whether it's the love for
Wow.
myself or it's the love that I have for somebody else that make you
Yeah.
want to be better. So
Wow.
that's what changes, you
I
know.
love that. I have on my back, love never fails. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Love wins. I think that's so beautiful. And not even just, romantic, which is amazing as
Yeah.
well, but that love of just acceptance and understanding and grace and healing, and just seeing somebody. I feel like that's love.
Yeah.
When you're like taking the time to like, I see you and I appreciate you for the good, bad, and the ugly, and I'm here,
Like when I think about love, I think about God's love.
Yeah.
Like it's not always comfortable. It's
Mm.
not always what we might see it or think it to be, but it's always what we need. And so
Yeah.
that's what I really try to think about. Like getting rid of those like people pleasing tendencies and really like allowing people to experience God through me as much as
Ooh.
possible. That's really what it is.
I want to hear a moment about you felt like God is using me right now.
Oh,
Yeah, let's get
that's
into
how
it.
my life feels. I'm not even gonna lie. Like that's how my life be
Yeah.
feeling. Like
Yeah.
I remember points in my life where I would be like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
tough, you know, but
Yeah.
but then it got to a point where I just accepted like he knows what I can handle and what I can't. And
So,
so
when you mean like God's using you, do you mean like He's preparing you, or do you feel like there's situations where somebody needs what you're saying or needs your gifts, or like, can you give me an example?
okay, yes, I'm gonna use choreography for an example.
Yeah.
I think I can remember one of the first times that I really recognized that God was using me. I had choreographed this dance called Strange Fruit, and it's
Yes.
about
Mm-hmm.
lynching. And that was like one of the first times in my life that I think I really experienced pain
Yeah.
personally as a teenager. So I had choreographed that dance when I was 18, and I got another opportunity to showcase it when I was about, I don't know, maybe I was like 21, 22 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to bring in some dancers, and so we had an audition. And long story short, we said a prayer before we started, and that's something that I was very intentional about while we
Yeah.
were learning that piece because it's very heavy. And
Mm-hmm.
as artists, sometimes we commit ourselves so much to like the performance part of things
Yeah.
that weight, you know, it can bring out some really like deep wounds in you depending on like what you choose to attach the emotion to. But I remember asking God to use us, like allow
Yeah.
us to be vessels to bring forth whatever was needed for this to be a progressive moment, like not just for us but for what we were dancing about, because we were in a room full of white people
Yeah.
and we were the only black group. And so to be able to do that in that type of space and literally feeling like the power of like spirit just
Yeah.
moving, like not just through me but through us holding hands and us
Yes.
all agreeing and affirming, and seeing like situations like that where you go to God and you're letting him know, like, okay, I recognize this is a situation that you're probably going to use me in. I just want you to know that I'm open to it. And
Yeah.
then seeing what he
Wow.
does with that. And that night, we ended up winning the overall, like, award, like
Got
the
it.
highest honor that you could have gotten. And, like I said, I was the only black person on that panel for choreography. So I would say that's a highlight of an example that I would say where God used me very intentionally.
I love
And I
that.
felt it.
I love that, and you said a key word of like being open, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we can pray or we can want something, and we're blocking
Mm-hmm.
it, we're rejecting it. What
Mm-hmm.
does that like openness feel like, look like? Because that's something that an intention I've been wanting to set, this month of like I really want to be open to what you've already given me, what you want to
Mm.
give to me. What does that openness look like for you?
Hmm. I guess it's definitely like a level of, I guess, like peace and
Mm.
maybe acceptance that you have to have,
Yeah.
like, and realizing like maybe you had this certain type of plan of how it was going to go and that
Yeah.
it might not go that way, but even in the midst of it, you know that a higher purpose is going to be served, and just
Yeah.
kind of being okay with what God has already shown you. And like what I do know is he's already shown me so many times in the past what he can do. So
Yeah, that's a fact.
why in this, whatever this situation, like think something or hold on to something worse for what? Because the thoughts come. I'm not gonna lie about that. Like they come,
Yeah.
but um,
That's
It's
real.
easy to be open to what you know. He's already done it.
Right, the evidence.
Yeah,
The
it's
evidence
there.
is there. You know what it reminds me of? We're going to get real biblical real quick.
Period. Let's do it. Because I love God. God loves me. Okay.
You know what I was thinking about? Because I remember I was in Bible school and I was just like, I don't get why the Israelites won't just listen. You know what I'm saying? Like, Moses freed them from slavery from Egypt. And they were sitting there complaining, like, where's our water? Where's our food? And I'm like, y'all were literally slaves and y'all still don't believe? Like, y'all literally saw the Egyptians get washed away by the sea and y'all still don't believe. And I just didn't get that. And I feel like the way that God uses me or guides me is putting me in those situations where I'm not understanding. If I'm judging somebody or not understanding somebody, he will put me in the same situation on the other side so I can feel it.
Yep.
And I get it now because like you
Yeah.
said, God has given me so many examples of I'm here, I got you, I'm here for you, I'm going ahead, beyond, preparing a way. And I'm still stressing, I'm still worried, I'm still having trouble believing. And it's like, and you still have grace. Thank you, God. I get it. Sorry, Israelites. You know what I'm saying?
No, seriously.
But yeah,
I feel
so
you.
I love that. I love that openness, and I'm excited for us both to just continue to be open to all God has for us. But back to you, back to all the things that you're a part of, all the hats that you wear, nail tech, director, dancer. What do you feel like matters most to you, and why is it dancing?
I'm gonna ask the question, but I got the answer for you. No, because it definitely is dancing.
Right.
And it does matter the most.
Right.
Okay, no. Why does dance matter the most? Dance matters the most to me because it truly saved my life.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't want to sound all like, oh, is she on the edge? No,
No.
I'm just being real.
It's real.
Life gets hard, and
Yeah.
you go from being a kid and people treating you a certain type of way, and then they don't, and
Yeah.
life changes, and you don't always. Everyone's not always prepared with the skills or the tools to maneuver through that, and so fortunately, at a young age, like I just found a joy within movement, and so I just always stuck to it because it made me happy.
Yeah.
And so whether, of course, don't get me wrong, I love my checks now. Okay, I love to get paid for what I do, but I really do dance when I'm happy. I dance when I'm sad. I dance when life is good. When it's not, it gets me through everything. And so it just like God had never left my side. So that's why it will always be first. Like you can't take that from me.
I love that. And I got to attend one of your heels classes.
Oh, yes.
And it was giving that. It was giving healing. It was giving connectedness. I felt so empowered. I was joking with you. One of the things you said, you were saying trauma is stored in the hips. And you would encourage us to move our body to flow and release it. And I think that was one of the first times I heard that. You had me, I was about to cry. I was
Girl,
like,
you want to be first,
you
girl.
know what I'm saying?
They be
Like,
crying in there, y'all.
You had me
And
really.
we love it. Yes.
You
here.
had me really letting go. You had us doing a mirror exercise where we're just looking at ourselves. I had never done any of those things. I wasn't expecting this to be the heels class. I was like, am I in therapy or am I dancing? And I was just
that.
like, and it was just so beautiful because honestly, I feel like it's easier to judge my body. It's easier to be hard on myself. It's easier to compare myself, societal standards, like, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. But in that moment, I was like, I'm everything. What do you feel like is your relationship with your body, and how has like dance kind of affected that?
That's a good question. My relationship with my body. Okay, so today I would say my relationship with my body, I definitely feel a lot more like in tune with it.
Yeah.
Like I feel in control of my body a lot more than I feel like as I did when I was younger. Like always having this body, but not always knowing maybe what to do with it or how or where to appreciate it. So I would say, what was the second part of the question?
Of just like, how do you feel like dance has impacted just your relationship with your body?
Oh, okay. So dance has definitely allowed me to have a much more appreciation for my body. It keeps me in shape, one, so my body tends to be like typically sculpted, which I do like, but it also helps me feel powerful sometimes too. Like I feel strong. I feel like I like what I see, because the same exercise that I give you all, I can give it because I do it, and that's how I tend and sculpt myself. So the same way that you feel when you're in my class, like that's how I feel about myself too when I get to do them. So I just really appreciate my body a lot more through dance.
I love that. It's
Yeah.
giving healthy.
Yeah.
You know what else affects your health? These men.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about, what do you feel like is your relationship with men nowadays, or with your relationships? What is it nowadays? How is it affecting your health? Are you because you know what made me ask this? I remember we did the fashion show around December. Do you remember that? It was like around the holidays, where we were wearing the masks. And I was just kind of, I like to do my check-ins, like, how are you, girl? You eating well, you treating yourself
Okay,
well.
yes.
And you're like, I'm stressed.
Stress.
It was giving toxicity.
Woo!
Do you feel like we still dealing with the toxicity? Or are we
are.
on to the healthy now? What are we on? Because
God
there's no
is
judgment
good.
either way.
No.
We have our seasons.
And I'm here for the questions because I got the answers. Okay. But no, and yes, that was a very real time.
Yeah.
And if you know, you know type thing. So
Yeah.
no, we are definitely in a much more healthy space.
Good. That's what I like
and
to
I
hear.
love that for myself.
Yes,
I feel
go
like
girl.
because I got to a point where I was like, you know what, my relationship with black men really matters to me, and I really wanted to nurture that, and I recognized that I needed to deal with some things with myself, because it's like people gonna do things, right? But it's more so about like what you allow, and that was where I felt like I was able to find the newness that I knew I always wanted and I desired, but sometimes it's like, you want a thing, but it's like, how do I get it? Like, how do I get something that I recognize I've never had, right?
Yeah.
So I had to do things that I had never done, and a lot of times it felt uncomfortable, and that's where I had to lean into God, which is what we was talking about. But I recognized, like, when I started leaning into God more and trusting Him with my emotions and my feelings, or the things that I was worried about, it just helped me get closer to, I feel like, a man who was more reflective of like the qualities that I was looking for.
Yeah.
That help. And it's not, like I said, it's not even always about it being romantic. It's about who makes you feel seen, heard, and loved, and when you are that, and even sometimes when you don't feel like that, like who's going to remind you that you're those things and not like push you down when you already down type of thing. So yeah, we thank God for growth for sure.
We thank God for
because
growth.
It was not cute. And I just want to say that don't let men stress you out, because it's not cute. Okay, it's not cute.
That's what new thing was it that you felt like you had to do differently, or maybe it was think differently? What was different about you that helped you to attract, the type of people you're attracting now?
Being honest with people about how they really was making me feel.
Yeah.
And then being honest with myself about what I was willing to do about that.
Yeah. Oh.
And
yeah.
And even in the midst of that, like recognizing, like, I'm sure I played my role in this. Maybe I should have said something a long time ago. Maybe but this is where I'm at now. And just recognizing that the truth is, honesty, and from what I've experienced anyway, it's like it's not going to ruin a real connection, So it's like I feel like, I would want someone to do that for me, because it's like I feel like if someone's telling me something, you want me to be around. Like, you're not informing me because you are trying to offend me. It's like, okay, I'm telling you this because I want you here. But it's like, if you keep doing this thing, I can't guarantee that my presence is going to remain. So I think that was the hard part.
Shout out to
And then the thoughts. Like, you really got to mind your freaking thoughts. Because your thoughts can lead you down a rabbit hole that you didn't even intend to get to. And now your whole mood messed up. You treat people funny.
Yep.
You don't even know why. Like, it can get real funky real quick. So you really got to watch what you think and what you hold on to.
Yeah, and even having the courage to communicate that. Back to honesty, something my sister and I do really well is kind of over communicating. Like, when you said that, it made me feel away. It made me feel like you really think this, and just saying that helps them to be more mindful of how they speak, and even just mindful of that's something on your mind. Or like, when I was saying this, you didn't have an expression, and that made me feel that way. Like, I would never known that you were feeling a way. I'm thinking we Gucci and you have a problem. So it's like, really over communicating will even help you to stop making those stories and assumptions, because I'm just like you. I will just take it and run, and I will assume the worst. Like, they hate me. I leave in front like, oh, They didn't laugh at the joke. They weren't feeling me anymore. Up, they're sick of me. And they'll be like, oh, I had an amazing time. So even me, I have, like you said, mind my thoughts. And that's just, from trauma and other
Yeah.
abandonment or whatever. And it's not that. And I have to remember and, like, okay, this is making me feel like you're judging me, and it's really I'm projecting and I'm judging myself for something. So I love that. Shout out to growth, shout out to time. I really feel like it's just over time giving yourself patience and the grace to learn from these situations.
Yeah, because I mean, trauma affects everybody differently. So,
Yeah.
And you got to be able to recognize the difference between when it's a you thing and when it's a them thing. And even when it's a them thing, it's still going to always be a you thing because we always have a choice about how we want to show and respond,
Yeah.
in situations. So I think that's another big thing for me is like, I really got intentional about not giving the world power over how my day is gonna go. Like people, places, things. Like this is me.
Wow.
And I know at any time I'm outside of this place, something is off. And what better way for me to know what's going on around me than for me to know what my natural place of being is, so that I can know when I'm out of that place and protecting myself too with that.
That's powerful. That's so special. I think that's something I'm learning too, of being balanced and not being so swayed. It's like if I'm just grounded in who I am, I can show up and be the influence instead of being like
moved everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's how it's gonna feel.
I love that.
Can't please everybody.
Yeah, and I just feel like that's just something that takes time. Another thing you mentioned taking time, you were recently highlighted by S Supreme Productions for Black History Month.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Sabrina.
Yes, and you were just talking about one of your big breaks didn't even happen till like you were well 10 years into your career. Touring with Master P.
Shout out to Master P.
I want to hear about
the real one.
10 years, those 10 years leading up to this, did it feel like you're waiting for your big break, or did it feel like you were just being present? What was that 10 years like?
I would definitely say it felt more of being present because I can't say that I didn't see that coming because God, one thing about me and God, we real tight like that, Just a reminder, right? We real tight like that. But no, seriously, He always gives me signs. Like, but to answer your question, I just did the work because I knew it was going to work. Like, I knew, like, if you do something long enough, well enough, like you'll have your time. It's like, and when your time comes, like, what are you gonna do with it? So my job was always just like, I want to be ready. I didn't know if it was gonna be Master P. I didn't know if it was gonna be Sierra. I didn't know who it was gonna be. It could have been anybody that I loved, but I was gonna be ready.
I love that.
And that's really what that was. So when it came, like even when I got the opportunity, shout out to Queen P. Okay. I didn't even know who the artist was. I just accepted the assignment. Like, God always be testing us sometimes, and we don't even be knowing. Like, only thing she asked me was I available? Was I willing? And could I? And then in the midst of it, this was the icing on the cake. Could I choreograph? I said yes, and yes.
Hold on, let's let that marinate. Was I available? Was I willing? And could I do it?
Yes, and yes. Absolutely. She said, okay, I'm going to email you the songs. I go to my email, see the email, and I'm like, where's my phone? I have to call her right now because what do you mean, Master P?
Right.
You just asked me this question. Like, are you telling me that I'm going on tour with Master P right now? Like, is that what you're telling me?
Wow.
All cat, like, and if you know PP, like, she gets... That's a blessed woman, okay?
Yes.
So she gets opportunities all the time. So to her, like, it was like the casualness of how she gave it to me. It did not make me think that it was going to be of such magnitude, but the magnitude of it was just blowing my mind because I'm telling you, like, I just knew something was coming, but I didn't know what. But so when it happened, I was like, wow, yeah. It was emotional because I've worked so hard to be prepared for a moment like that. So for God to give it to me lets me know that He sees me. So it's like if He did it, like I said, if He did it once, I know He'll do it again.
And obviously you want to do something like that again.
Yeah. I love that. That was like amazing. Like being able to choreograph and my people saw my choreography in different states and people getting to see me in my element and just being literally who I am and getting paid to do it and doing it with people that I love and trust. That was a really rare and unique experience that a lot of people don't get to have. And I don't have an agent. Like, I don't have nobody representing me, but who?
God.
Yes. So with that being said, being in the room without having someone to take, it's no shade to those that do, because you got to get it how you get it. But I'm just speaking about my experience. I didn't have to do that. My agent was God.
Yeah.
So that right there let me know
Mm.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I've arrived.
I
So
I love that. Like, what do you see yourself doing next? Like, who else do you want to work with after this?
I think that's a great
See, you got God as your
question.
agent, so it's not okay. God's like, okay, what you want, Lola? I got you. I'm gonna go in the room. You just let me know.
Now, this is a good question. So I feel like what I really want to do now, I'm not going to lie. Actually, no. I know exactly one person that I do want to work with. Ari Lennox for sure.
Yes.
I
Oh,
just
girl, that's in the
feel
bag.
like
She's gonna see this and like, girl, I've been looking for you.
I know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I've always known, like,
She's
from the
literally here.
day, from the day I heard her music, like,
Yes.
I appreciated her because she really helped me get through a time that was really emotionally rough for me, and her words were just so raw and authentic. I appreciated her during a time where I just feel like it's not a lot of that out here. So shout out to Ari Lennox for being a real one. Okay.
Yeah.
And I really want to work with her because her music, like, it makes my creativity flow just so easily.
Yeah.
And I really love that. So, and I have quite a bit of choreography that I've created with her. I mean, I don't want to be like cliche and say Beyonce, but I just feel like we have a great time, like
That's not cliche
in
at
the
all.
studio. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely just say Ari Lennox because that's something that I really have been thinking about for years. Like, just really, I pay attention to her shows and stuff too, so that's another thing.
Okay, that's in the works. I already know. I
Yeah.
really felt like, because that wasn't even my next question. I felt like God wanted me to let you know that it's on the works.
Thank you for the confirmation, because I know he's very close to you as well. So thank you. I know he told you.
appreciate that. That means so much to me.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned Sierra, Ari Lennox, Master P. Who are you listening to? Who's inspiring you lately? We got our ear and eye gates. What you feeding yourself with?
Okay, what do I feed myself with on a daily? So I'm gonna be realistic. I'm a very old soul. I listen to 70s music every day of my life. Anything from Earth, Wind, and Fire to Isaac
They were just on
Hayes.
Janelle. Not Janelle. They were just on Jaguar. Did you see that? You have to listen to that song.
I did not.
Yes.
I be a little removed from technology sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
That's good. That's healthy.
Yeah, I love
Monet. One of the songs is featured Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay, I have to listen to them. I haven't heard them in a while. I love me some Project Pat real bad. Like, I definitely have an appreciation for like southern, like hard rap. I don't know. My palette is just so. I listen to gospel music. I listen to everything. I just like what sounds good and really what makes my spirit. My brain don't really work that well all the time when it comes to like having to randomly like pick. It's more of a feeling. But I like good music.
I love that. Who'd you turn on this morning?
Oh, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Really?
I play Earth, Wind, and Fire, Keep Your Head to the Sky, because that's one of my songs that just kind of remind me to literally do that. I just gotta look up there sometimes and be like, okay, it's well.
Okay.
Well.
I'm gonna do 2 more questions and then we're gonna do rapid fire.
Okay. Oh, rapid
fire.
All
right. So I know you're an Aquarius.
See?
I want to read some attributes and I want you to tell me if you. I'm gonna read about you. And I want you to tell me if they sound accurate. Okay.
All right.
Here come our bees, our friendly bees.
I'm trying to keep it cool, y'all. Y'all see me?
You're doing amazing.
Am I doing good? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
She prefers to live on the fringes. Check or nah?
Fringes?
Always thinking outside the box.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
This fit is given not
that's
in
a
the
fact.
box.
Yeah.
Okay. These women are often motivated by social justice and change.
Yes.
Check.
Yeah.
Deeply desiring to contribute to the cultural shift, particularly in issues of poverty, world health, equal rights, and reform.
Definitely.
They're going to show up.
And out.
And educate. She wants to do whatever she can to heal the world and help make things better. What you think? You think that's accurate?
Yes. Everything is on point so far.
I feel like that's spot on.
Yeah, definitely. I resonate with that.
She has a detachment to her passionate characteristics. What do you think about that?
She has a detachment?
Do you feel like she's detached? What do you think?
I can definitely be detached.
Do you feel like she's impatient?
We can definitely be impatient, for sure.
You feel like she has a listening ear?
Yes.
I love that.
But,
Okay.
okay, but I feel like we can be impatient, but I have a lot of patience though.
That's good. That's something
I've
I'm
grown
working
to have
on.
patience. Yeah.
That's
Shout out to
something
my
I'm working
granddad.
on because I'm just like, why don't you love me now? You know?
I feel you though.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I love you right now. So do you love me right now?
You know
Like,
what I'm
no,
saying? Like,
seriously.
why aren't you ready?
Yeah.
All right, last question before we do the rapid fire.
Okay.
Okay, past, present, future, what are you most proud of? What are you looking
Mm.
forward to? And what's the focus now?
Okay, you might have to repeat.
It's all good.
Those.
So, first one, what are you most proud of?
Past, present, or future, you said?
Past.
Oh, okay. So for each one.
Got you.
I am most proud of my resilience
Yes.
and my commitment to myself
Yes.
and knowing that God has a plan for me.
Yes.
Literally, simply put.
I love that. What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to all the goodness that I
Yeah.
know is coming for me. Like, I know it's about to get real good. I've been feeling very excited. So I'm just like all the things that I see in my mind. Like, I'm excited to knowing and believing and knowing again that things are really in my control, you know? And so that makes me excited because I know when it's in my hands, like, oh, it's good.
I love that. And
Yeah.
what are you focusing on now? As we're getting ready for this goodness, what's the focus? What are we setting our attention on?
I am setting the intention on myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nurturing myself.
Yeah.
Really giving myself the things that I need daily, moment by moment, so that
Yeah.
I can sustain and maintain